Good morning. Welcome to the Saints TV Round 21 review video. I've given this some time to mull over. I didn't do the live review last night, so sorry for everyone that stayed up and was looking forward to that. I was at the Bentley Social with a large group of Sainers, and that went a bit late, so I thought best to just sleep on it and then come back with a fresh mind this morning on the game. So the game itself was a fairly big one for us, to keep our season alive. Richmond were playing Port Adelaide at the same time, so that result, was going to really dictate our chances in the next 2 weeks, and unfortunately Richmond did get the win, and unfortunately we didn't. So that means we're now 9th, Richmond 8th, and our percentage takes another hit, although at this point percentage is irrelevant. We just need the wins. And it was Geelong that went away with the win in the end. It was a 45-point win to the Cats, 110-65. So it's a pretty easy game to summarise, to be honest, when I think about it. We literally played one good quarter. We played a very, very good second quarter and probably deserved more scoreboard pressure than what we got. And then the rest of that, it was, Geelong kicked 6 goals in the first. They kicked 4-0 in the third. And then they kicked 5-3 in the last. So every other quarter, we were pretty comprehensively outplayed. And that's, the really upsetting thing is, Dangerfield was a laid out. Blixarves was a laid out. Selwood didn't play, their captain. They were missing, some pretty important players. Gary Rowan didn't play. There was an opportunity, especially in the midfield. There was an opportunity. No Dangerfield, that's their weapon. We still got done, and that's, we didn't lift for the occasion. That's what's really disappointing. It looked like, the second term we got up and about. We were loud at the Bentley Social. Dan Butler kicks that goal. We go 4 points behind, I think, 43-47. I think at another point in the game it was 44-100 or something. Like, they kicked the next 8 goals unanswered, I think, until we actually kicked a goal in the last quarter. We went, close to 45 minutes of football time without kicking a goal, and that's after a second term where we had the ball in our 50-75% of the time. We had 10 more inside 50s, and we kicked 4 goals to 2. That stuff, that's got to get you up and about. Like, no doubt, you go into the rooms at halftime, you're like, we're only 10 points down, boys. Let's lift more. But we didn't. We did the opposite. We went back into our shells. We made countless errors that just good teams don't do, and that was quite the most obvious thing, I suppose, out of the game, was just the ability for, whether it's one of their top 5 players or their bottom 5 players at the Cats, to just do the basics, hit targets, know their role within the team. And you can't really say that about our players. Like, we can't even rely on our top 5 players to hit targets, Brad Hill's one of our best kicks. He misses a few. Sinks misses a few. We had, a lot of turnovers last night, which was, for some of those players that, like I said, they're our better players, our better kicks. For them to turn the ball over, it just kind of saps you of all confidence. And Jimmy Webster had one of those nights where he was just so slow with the footy in hand. Anytime he got the ball, you just thought he was going to get caught. Hot potato as well, you get it. No, you get it. No one took responsibility of, no, okay, I'm going to take this and I'm going to lead it. I'm going to hit a target. There might have been a few occasions where Steely did it, and he did that a lot in the second quarter. But he had 20 for the day. I think our biggest possession getter, Brad Crouch, 28, then Brad Hill, 26. From there, Ross, 23, Sinclair, 23, and Marshall, 21. Steele, 20, So under that, you've got Clark on 18, Windy, Membry, Webster. They're all 15 and less. We couldn't get our hands on the footy. In that first term, it was, all the Cats. And in the end, we did have 367 disposals. They had 389. And the most upsetting thing is, it feels like they had more inside 50s. It feels like it was dominated by them. They only had 5 more. And they won by 8 goals. We went in 45 times and we had 15 shots. That is a 33% conversion. That is shocking. They went in 50 times. They had 25. Pretty easy math. 50%. So 1 in 2, every second time they go in there, they're hitting the scoreboard, and that's not good. That's a worry. But Geelong are notably very, very efficient, when it comes to going inside 50. And then in accuracy, 67%. We were kicking straight last night. I think we kicked the first six or 7 shots on goal were goals, which is, not St Kilda like at all. And they went at 68%. So the set shot kicking wasn't the difference. It was just the sheer efficiency going inside 50. And again, when you talk about our forward line, you think Max King, he's got 1 goal. So left foot snap in the second term, very good goal. 8 disposals for the game, unsighted pretty much for the rest of the day. Membry, 17 disposals, but again, in front of goal, not really his best game. Jack Higgins, Dan Butler, there were so many times where the ball, it just hit the deck off a long bomb into our forward line. Our tools all go up for it. No one stays down, first of all, to see where the ball's going to rove to. They don't all need to go for the same ball. That just creates more of a pack, and they're less likely to take the mark. It's just silly play. But then when the ball hits the ground, you got to have Butler there, you got to have Higgins there to rove it. But every time it was a Geelong player with 3 teammates that were roving it and walking it out. And I don't know if this is a tactic for Geelong because I haven't watched them very much this year, but the amount of handballs out the back along a boundary line, as if that's like, they take the boundary handball because they know that most teams are going to guard the corridor against them. So it actually gives them a lot of space on the outer. So everyone is on the in, guarding the middle, like Cat's going to go through the guts. They play aggressive. But they're like, well, you're all going to be clustered in the middle of the ground, which means that, the boundary of the field, which isn't that wide anyway because it's GMHBA, it's got no wings. That's where we're going to go. We're going to handball around that, and then we're going to go in long off the 45-degree angle near the 60-metre arc, So they played that all day. We didn't guard that at all. We never guarded the boundary handball, and that was what killed us in the end. They continually got overlap. They continually got numbers boundary side. And when there was one handball, there was always another one ready to go and another one. And then eventually, when they had the supporting runner, back in board, gets the hands, and then guess what? You've got a clear forward line with Hawkins and Cameron leading. And some of the goals they kicked in the first term, you look at them and you're like, how are they getting into that much space? Like, how is Parfitt, how is Stengel getting into 45 metres of space unattended? It's not like we all pushed up the ground. They just ran and spread, and they created chaos. It was so hard for our defence to man up on because they were leading everywhere. Our forward line on the other end doesn't create chaos. It doesn't create confusion. It doesn't spread a defence. It keeps the defence intact as one unit, and when the ball comes in, that one unit is able to punch it, repel it, mark it, rebound it, whatever you want to do. Our forward line will let you do it because our forwards are just lazy. That's the word I'm going to use. Against top 8 teams, we average 59 points. We don't know how to kick goals against top 8 teams. We're the lowest scoring team against top 8 teams in the top 8 or in the top 9 now. So that's a worry. When we play top teams, we just don't know how to kick goals. And that goes again this week. We kicked 10 goals 5. It's not enough. We need to learn how to kick 15 goals a week to have any chance. But with the way that our connection is with our mids and our forwards, it's hard to see us kicking a big score because there just seems to be such a big disconnect. And I can't even say much about the back line because a lot of the time our mids had clear passages to goal going the other way, and they would make one mistake, they'd turn the ball over, a hospital handball here, a lazy kick there, and it was immediately turned over. Our defence is not set. Geelong get it on the rebound and they kick goals from it. So I think a stat did pop up on the telecast last night, and it was goals from turnover or scores from turnover, and Geelong were like 60 and we were about 15, I think, or 20. So the margin itself in the game was 45 points, and the margin in terms of scores from turnover was about 40 points. So you could say that those turnovers really did cost us the game. That was the margin in the end. We couldn't, and when they turned it over, we couldn't capitalise. Because Geelong turned it over, it's just that when we got it, we were slow, we were lethargic, we didn't take the game on. The only time we took the game on was that second term, and we kicked 4 goals to 2. And that was the best we've looked in a long time, to be honest. That second quarter was some of the best football we've played in months. And then we suddenly follow that up with, 2 quarters of pretty average football. And, Geelong are a very well-drilled team. They are top for a reason. And it pains me to say this, but I just hate seeing teams that, every player knows what's going on. They know where they need to be. They know what is expected of them every week. They know their structure. They know the way their team plays. Not just the way they play as a player, but as a team. And I can't say that for a lot of our boys. I think they all know how to play football. They obviously know how to play football. They've been drafted for a reason. But to be part of a unit, to play a certain style, we've got so many styles in the team. Geelong, you look at most of their players, they all look the same size. They all play the same way. Danger and, a few players here and there are the exception. But generally, they've got a type. And they get that type, they get them into the club, it suits their style. Their style is a winning style, gets them to grand finals and prelims and finishes on top of the ladder, and they stick to that plan. With us, we've got talls, smalls, utilities, players with explosive pace. We've got the whole lot, but that doesn't mean that you can put all those ingredients into a pot and get some nice stew going. It might be something that's like, yeah, they're all good ingredients, but they don't taste good together. They don't work well together. So that's kind of the way I see us at the moment compared to like a team like Geelong, where we might have more ingredients, more of a style, individually with our players. But when it comes to working together, they are the benchmark and they've done it for a very long time. And you look at Sydney, you look at these sort of teams and that's the same, So I think we've got a fair way to go. Obviously the season's not done, and that's what I want to stress is that we've got Brisbane on Friday night and then we've got Sydney on the Sunday. Both at Marvel, so hopefully we can get some, fairly decent crowd to both. I know some people will probably assume that the season's done based on this result and the fact that we really need to topple Richmond and have a few results go our way, which generally, it's not a great way to go. You don't want to rely on other results. You really want to control your own destiny with your performances, your results. But fact is, if we win both our last two games, which would be huge, then if results go our way, it'll end up, we'll play finals, but it's not the situation Saints fans want to be in, but it's not one we're not used to being in, if that makes sense. So I'm just really, I'm really upset that we didn't give ourselves a chance after halftime at all to just stay in the game. And Rat said it in his press conference, I just watched it. He's really upset that we just didn't stay in the game long enough to, if things turned our way, maybe we were close enough to challenge, but we weren't close enough to challenge at any point after halftime. They really did shut the game down. And once they got 5 goals up, you knew what Geelong were going to do. They get it to the boundary, they play repeat stoppage, they slow the game down, bit of drizzle comes, everything went against us. And again, when you can't kick goals, when you're averaging 10 goals a game against top 8 teams, let alone the top team on the ladder, you're leaving it very, very difficult. You're not going to be able to peg them back. If we were a high scoring team and we're averaging 20 goals a week and we're 6 goals down in the last quarter, you think, well, we average 20 goals a week. We can do this. We can put goals on quick. But we haven't done that in a while. We haven't had a 8-goal quarter in a fair while. We've done 4s and 3s and that sort of stuff, but not a big quarter. And that's a bit of a worry. So I'd like to think this week on the track, we really need to improve our forward line structure. I say that every week, but it really needs to happen. We can have the best back line, we can have the best midfield, but if the forward line keeps playing the way it's playing, keeps the lack of leading, the lack of creativity, movement, all of that, you're not going to get anything out of the game at all. The forward line is the end point, The forward line is the tick of like everyone doing their role. Tick, we get a goal. Tick, we get a goal. Keep doing it. If we don't get the goals, and everyone's doing what they're doing in the forward line, in the midfield, in the back line, it just saps you of all kind of confidence because you're like, look, the backmen are doing what they need to do, the mids are doing what they need to do, but the forwards, no, they're not doing what they need to do. And we need forwards that can kick goals. And right now, none of our forwards are capable of kicking a bag, which is really disappointing because I saw this year as the year that Kingy could really dominate, but it could be next year. He's only 6th on the Coleman at the moment, I think, 6th or 7th. So for a player that's so frustrating to watch, for him to be top 10 in the Coleman's excellent, but we really need, the next 2 weeks, we really need our players to say, like, we need to stand up here. We can't go down losing like we did last night because that's just going to be another tough off-season and we're back to square one, I would have thought. So I'll leave it there, Sainers. That's my review. Not quite the live review straight after the game. I thought I'd better just sleep on it and get my thoughts together and then do this. So hopefully you enjoy it. key takeout is that Geelong are a very well-drilled team. They know what works for them and they stick to that. We do not know what works for us, and therefore we have nothing that consistently can be stuck to. We don't trust our system well enough, and too many players try to do too many things, and we need to simplify it a little bit more. And the biggest thing, disconnect between mids and forwards. That's a big problem, and until we fix that, we're not going to be able to win games like last night. So I'll leave it there, Saners. Thank you very much for watching. Obviously not the performance we wanted, but I appreciate all of you watching the videos and enjoying the content, and also everyone that turned up to the Bentley Social. We lost, but bloody hell, it was loud. That second quarter, the Dan Butler goal to get us 4 points down, the roof nearly blew off the Bentley Social. It was so loud. So thank you to everyone that turned up. It was so much fun to celebrate a few goals with you, not the win, but the experience anyway is still great to meet all of you and have a chat with some of you there. And yeah, hopefully we'll be able to do more of those next year. And if we make finals, who knows, we'll do a couple there as well. But yeah, not the result we wanted, but nonetheless, we move on to next week. So take care, Saners. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Please like the video, comment your thoughts, and most importantly, subscribe. We're only about 70 off 4,000. So if we could get to the 4,000 mark by the end of the year, that would be amazing. And I'll be back tomorrow for the podcast, tomorrow night with Marshy, hopefully back in the studio. And Joycey, and as always, Saints TV Weekly will drop tomorrow as well. So enjoy the rest of your Sunday, Saners. As always, go you mighty Saners. See you guys.